We would like to welcome all of you to this conference that is aimed at improving the development of children in the early years. The theme for our presentation is Practitioners Action and Inaction. Our presenters are Tasha Leon-Herman, Kelly Antrup, and Cheryl Raj. It takes a big heart to shape the little minds, were the words that Lucy Falls 2016 cited in an article about people who care about a child's development. These words are quite applicable in determining who is really an early childhood practitioner, because there are many expectations of an early childhood practitioner. However, only those with the big hearts can mold these little minds. In this presentation, the roles of an early childhood practitioner will be discussed, as the focus will mainly be on understanding the importance of these roles. However, the consequences surrounding the absence of these roles will also be examined. At the end of this presentation, an early childhood practitioner can really reflect upon their importance in the development of children. Let us now understand the rationale for such a presentation. The rationale for this presentation is to ensure that all early childhood practitioners understand their roles in the holistic development of children. Ever too often, we encounter children who have fallen short in their development, or we encounter early childhood practitioners who are not motivated to carry on with their roles. With the global focus on the development of early childhood education, it is important that all early childhood practitioners consistently implement their roles, because the consequences of not doing such affects a child for life. Therefore, if early childhood practitioners are constantly reminded of the importance of their roles and the consequences of their absence in a child's life, then they will be motivated to mold a child. One may ask if there is any justification for the importance of the roles of practitioners. Of course, there is. The works of many theories have given justification to the importance of the development of children, which further reflects on the roles of the early childhood practitioners in the life of a child. The role of an early childhood practitioner is linked to every aspect of a child's life. Jean Piaget, 1896, examined the development of children and identified many stages that they experience as they grow. Early childhood practitioners are needed because when sensitive periods are not achievable, the child's growth is stunted, and this can be harmful for the physical development of the child. From the sensory motor stage, which is from birth to 2 years, which is the first stage of Piaget's stages of cognitive development, to pre-operational stage, which is from 2 years to 7 years, where symbolic play is developed, the role of an early childhood practitioner becomes imperative. Who is an early childhood practitioner? An early childhood educator, which usually calls an early childhood practitioner, is a person who works with young children and their families from birth through 3rd grade in childcare centers, school-based programs, home settings, or other educational settings, according to Wayne State University. If you consider yourself as an early childhood educator, then know that the hats are many to carry. For those of you that are experienced, I am sure you can attest to the many colorful hats that we have to wear on a daily basis. Each hat representing a different role, and we are expected to be masters of all. Marcelo Fajane, 2014, explored the roles of an early childhood educator and was able to highlight 5 key roles. One is to create a stimulating learning environment. Creating a stimulating learning environment would mean that the early childhood practitioner would need to ensure that the physical space of the early childhood setting is child-friendly. That is, the materials, equipment, and organization of the environment must be child-friendly. A stimulating environment is also comfortable, interesting, attractive, developmentally appropriate, and encourages intrinsic thinking. The role of the early childhood educator is also to encourage experimentation. This simply means that the teacher is responsible for giving the children opportunities to interact with appropriate materials, to explore, to discover, and to develop the attitude of questioning in the search for answers. The other role of the practitioner, as highlighted by Fajin, is to guide and extend children's thinking. Guiding children, according to Amy Klein, involves setting clear, consistent limits that have reasons and striving to foster self-esteem and independence. If an early childhood practitioner serves as a guide to children's development, then children will be encouraged to extend their thinking because they will be given the opportunity to think for themselves and not think what the teacher wants them to think. Supporting children's learning was the fourth role identified by Fajin in 2014. Supporting a child's learning takes into account their diverse needs, their holistic development, and also learning outside of the school environment. Supporting a child's learning is not limited to the school environment, as the early childhood educator must engage the family and other partners in the community that contributes to the child's development. The final role stated by Fajin is that an early childhood educator needs to protect and care for children in the absence of their primary caregiver. This is the role that takes into account children's health and safety. Therefore, the physical environment must have furniture, materials, and equipment that are safe for children to use. As it relates to health, the early childhood educator must ensure that all children are protected from all health hazards, that they eat healthily, they are protected from contagious diseases in the school environment, and their vaccines are updated.
Importance of the role of the early childhood practitioner. According to the Early Childhood Family Education Program 2013 noted, the learning environment is an important and powerful teaching tool. If the environment is set up with the knowledge of how children learn and develop, it can positively support teaching and learning. But on the other hand, if a teacher experiences difficulty with student behavior, teachers should carefully evaluate the daily schedule, classroom arrangements, material within each learning center, and the daily activity planned. The early childhood learning environment. In creating a positive, stimulating early childhood environment, the following practices should be observed. The classroom should be organized to foster exploration with learning materials. Learning materials should be concrete and relevant to a child's own experience. The classroom environment should be set up for choices. Learning experience should be planned to teacher-initiated or child-initiated. Opportunity exists in small group contexts for acquiring new skills. Schedule should reflect activity and learning activities, large groups, small groups, and individual time, teacher, indirect, and child-initiated activity, and indoor and outdoor activities. The caring teacher is a vital component in the environment. According to an article written by Isabel, an environment that positively impacts young children stated that specific design techniques, when combined with a caring teacher, can help the environment to become a wonderful place for the nurturing the development of young children. Children who spend a lot of time within an early childhood setting will have many opportunities for expanding their knowledge by actively participating in a world that is appropriate for their level of development. For example, spacing should include for active play as well as for privacy. Additionally, opportunity are provided for a child to work quietly, and an area are available where small groups can collaborate on projects.
Consequences and implications of the absence of the practitioner's role in the early childhood care and education. There are dire consequences to face as a society, of course, overrun in the care processes to treat with the question of delayed and stunted growth rate, causing terminality disease. The healthcare system is overworked with the care of the neglected and underdeveloped children. Hence the reason why the inactive practitioner's role is a waste of manpower resources. Implications. Without the formal training of a practitioner on knowledge base of child growth and development and the proper brain wiring information, the child will not achieve the milestones in motor skills to take him or her to the next level. The child takes longer time to process thought and to receive language. There's an example of the girl called Jeannie who was tied to her potty and only responded to her name and the word sorry spoken by her mother.
In conclusion, it is imperative that early childhood practitioners reflect on their role in a child's life because it affects a child holistically. Both the action and the inaction of an early childhood practitioner can have lasting effects on the child. The early years of a child's life is very important as it reflects later in their life. Therefore, practitioners need to embrace their roles, act upon their roles, and mold the little minds of a child that comes with open arms to them. Let us as practitioners do our part and remain in action to improve every child's development. Thank you.